G'day and welcome to another edition of the Aussie Ideas Man. This is the promised follow-up video to the probably very bad video I made that was just me preserving all the comments I made on the Cretin site because the Cretin blocks me. I just felt in the mood to put them there and record them, and I went through about 140 of them. That will stretch most people's patience, I know. It doesn't matter. I did promise a follow-up video, and this is it. It's been a while since I've seen this, so once again, when I run through this, I'm just going to put minor thoughts in. A lot of what I think will be just left out because it will just go too long if I don't stick to minor thoughts. So here we go.
Hello everyone, it's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. In this video, I want to talk about this article from Electrek from a few days ago where they're talking about how even though the Cybertruck supposedly has 1 million reservations, if you want to buy a Cybertruck now, you could probably get one delivered to you within the next month or two.
So that's the topic, that's what the title's all about, and just watch the timeline for when he actually does get on topic.
Says a lot of things about their conversion rate, which I want to go into this thing. But before I get started, I wanted to kind of address this comment that I had on a recent video. It's from R.C. Archender. But it's not just him. I think I've seen comments similar to this a couple of times on the video, and this is just the most recent one. And it says, your visible waning support and enthusiasm for Aptera is on display and very disappointing. You doubt their timelines consistently. You seem to question virtually every decision the management team makes. I've become disillusioned with your website. I'm looking less and less at your site as a source of reliable, solid information. Now, I have a couple of these comments, and then I have a couple of comments from people who are like, oh, you're just a fanboy. You spin everything positively. You don't understand all the bad stuff that's happening, this, that, and the other. So I have one side saying that I'm not enough of a fan. I have another side saying that I'm too much of a fan. So it's a little bit, both ways. Well, I'm just going to say that I've always said on this channel that I am a fan. I'm a big fan of Aptera. I love the product. I like the people in the company. And I really, really like the idea of a super efficient car. And that's always the car I've always wanted. And when Aptera first came out in 2009, I put in an order for that because I was like, this is the car that I would build if I knew how to build a car. But I'm also a realist and a pragmatist. So that is kind of the bent of my channel, is that I am a fan, but I'm going to call it as I see it. And if something doesn't sound right, I'm going to say that it doesn't sound right to me. And of course, I've always consistently told you I'm not an engineer. I'm not an expert in financial matters or automotive matters. I'm a relatively intelligent guy that likes to learn about stuff. And
I'll stop here because what he's giving here is his view of the world through his own eyes, and mine is very different to his. And when he says I'm a relatively intelligent guy, I beg to differ. I believe he's a greedy guy. I believe that he's taking people for a ride on the basis that he's going to maximize his income, and that's not intelligent, that's cunning. There's a difference. As far as relative intelligence goes, I can't see too much relativity. There are only 2 articles that he uses that have slightly different opinions, or it wouldn't matter if the opinions are poles apart. 2 articles is not enough to warrant even trying to justify yourself, because everybody sees the world through different eyes. So if he has to spend so much time justifying himself because of 2 articles, I would say that's an indication that the ego is too big, way too big. And I would say trying to justify yourself on that basis points more towards him having a hidden agenda. He's got a feeling that his philosophy is coming apart, and he's just trying to protect it. Hence, 2 articles generates a long time dedicated to making people feel like he's a relatively intelligent person. There's probably better ways that I can say it, but I have a hard time putting my thoughts together because I'm just looking at a laptop screen.
Making this channel, I've learned a lot about automotive engineering. I've learned a lot about how startup financing works, and I've met a lot of really cool people. It's been a fun journey for me. But yeah, if you're looking for some place that's just just spinning everything as good news and everything is roses all the time, this is not going to be the channel for that. I'm going to give you guys all the information I can find about Aptera as soon.
I'll tell you something. Just recently, another person made a comment that was a little negative, and he was given a different philosophy from the cretin. He was told that this is a fan channel and that any negative comments are just not welcome at all. So here he is justifying himself, saying, I should be able to make negative comments. And on the other hand, one more person commenting makes a few negative comments and he gets told off, saying this is the wrong place to make negative comments. If you want to look for that in detail, look at one of my latest videos, because I respond to this telling off that he gave Joe. This is a man with garbled thinking. He's inconsistent and he's dangerous.
As soon as I find it, and I'm going to give you what I think is a pragmatic, realist view and interpretation of that news. And there's going to be a lot of speculation on this channel because, I mean, there's only so much solid information we have. So we just have to speculate based on the limited information we have. And whenever Aptera gives me access, they've been very, very generous with me and given me access to talk to their engineers and their CEOs like Steve and Chris have talked to me and spent their valuable time talking to me and talking to you guys through me, basically, as a way of talking to the community. And that's been great. That's always the best information you're going to get. I just want to say, like, hey, if you think, I hope that this is a source of reliable information, because I'm not going to spin it for you guys. I'm not going to spin it like this is a wonderful thing and this is great all the time. If there's issues, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it as I see it. And then I doubt their timelines consistently. That's absolutely true. I do doubt their timelines. I doubt everyone's timelines. No one's ever met a timeline. And Aptera certainly has not met any timelines.
He forgets here that he actually praised Fisker for meeting a timeline. So no one's ever met a timeline. It's basically lying, and he knows it because he's the one that said Fisker is the only one that he knows of that was on time. But I'll just backtrack a little and say that I noticed over the times that he's been making videos that he says minor things that are a little bit negative at the start of his video. But he frames his presentation such that in the back half, by the time it ends, he has said so much positive about it that the negative has been well and truly buried. It's a way of looking fair while guiding the gullible in his own direction. His desire to have people make reservations and even invest, even though he says he's not an investor like they all do, but that desire is well and truly established by the end of every video. Make reservations, invest. I'll sound like I'm being fair at the start, but I'll just swing things throughout the video away from the issue, then start making it look like it's insignificant, and then push the snake oil. This is what his videos have been like all along. The pattern is there.
We were supposed to see this car in 2022. Obviously, it's 2024. And like anyone who has ever watched any EV startup knew for sure they weren't going to deliver a car in 2022. That wasn't going to happen. The latest timeline is that there's supposed to be a PI2 vehicle in August. We're halfway through August. I kind of doubt we're going to see a PI2 vehicle in August. I hope I'm wrong.
This is just stretching it out a couple of weeks because that PI2 slowly drivable. I took specific notice that Steve Fambro, in a recent video only less than a month ago, said that it would be mid-August. The cretin has now just said August. We are already past mid-August, and so this is a broken promise again as far as timelines go. And let me tell you that it's one thing for a company to say, I'll get something up and produced in a year's time, and miss that timeline by another year, maybe two. That's fine. But it's another thing when a company says, we're going to make something in a few weeks, and then is months and months and months, and repetitively having short timelines, short prediction, and having far longer after the prediction. But not just far longer after, far longer to the next prediction, not production. Others have missed timelines, but then they have produced. These are missed timelines and then more missed timelines. Production is not within sight. It's too often and it's too inept on the part of the makers of this silly trike.
That'd be great. I am basically waiting until there is a PI2 vehicle that they would let me get a ride in or something, and then I'm 100% going down to Carlsbad to see that. And so I think it's going to be in September. I hope it's going to be in September. If it's in August, I'm going to be shocked and pleasantly surprised. But yeah, like though that's the latest timeline that I'm pretty sure that's not going to be met. But that's just the nature of the beast. And people, in order to be a startup, you have to be optimistic. If you're not an optimist, you wouldn't even do a startup. If you're an optimist, you're going to give optimistic timelines. And optimistic timelines are going to be wrong. So that's just how it goes. And yeah, in terms of enthusiasm, I would say, yeah, my enthusiasm is less than when I started this channel back in 2021. In 2021, everything at the very beginning, everything looks possible. And as time goes on, you realize what's possible and what's not possible, and reality kind of filters in more. And I still think Aptera is going to make it. We're going to deliver a car. I think it's going to be in late 2025. I don't think it's going to be early 2025. But we are getting there, and we're definitely closer now than we were in 2021. And so yeah, my early videos were like, yeah, 7 reasons why Aptera is amazing. My favorite feature, wish list. I got to this. This was kind of funny, actually. I went back and I looked at, so this was back in August of 2020, and these are the things I was hoping Aptera would come with. A third seat. I wanted them to put a third seat kind of right between the two front seats. That's definitely not happening. A Tesla charge port. I wanted that, and that definitely happened. Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. That seems like that's happening. Dash cam Sentry mode. We've asked for that for a long time. It seems like Sentry mode is very, very power intensive, and that's why they're shying away from it. So it looks like that's not happening, at least initially. And then comma AI compatibility. This was before even Chris McCannon was hired at Aptera, August of 2021. And I think comma AI was like not even in the picture. That was a little bit of a prescient thing. And that looked like, that's 100% happening. So that was cool to look back and see that. Okay, anyways, getting back to this article that we originally wanted to talk about. Electrek, they are saying.
So 7 minutes and 20 seconds out of 15 minutes and 39 seconds, almost 50%, so close to 50% of the time on this video, just about him justifying how fair he is as a presenter. And I'm too reasonably intelligent to see that he's just been snowballing. He's continuing to fool the gullible. What he says and what he has done does not match up.
That they said that they've started to notice that people who just reserved a truck a few weeks ago are getting invited to configure their truck. And they supposedly had 1 million reservations, but they've only delivered about 25,000 of them. What that means is that the conversion rate for reservations to orders has been extremely low. So 25,000 out of 1 million is like 2.5%. That is a ridiculously low reservation to order conversion rate.
Now, I'm going to spare you the long other 50 odd percent because I'm more interested in the front half where he's trying to justify himself, a function of too big an ego and too little reasonable intelligence. But I will say this about the rest. 2.5% conversion rate for a Tesla is extremely low, but I have always said just stick to what Aptera is doing and never look outside of Aptera for any sort of confirmation of where things are going to go. So straight away, he's into something that I am opposed to even discussing. But if I was to discuss it, my assessment is that his assessment of 30% and all the silly assessments that people have made in the comment, you can look at my first video on this topic for that, my attempt to be funny in responding to 140 odd people. All of these predictions of 30% and above after seeing 2.5% for the Tesla Cybertruck are just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. While he gives some reasons for thinking it, they are nonsensical. There are better reasons to show that, if anything, it's going to be way less than 2.5%, and you can't get much further down, and you're at zero conversion. This is first assuming that they can even make something to sell, or if they even want to make something to sell. But in any case, if something gets sold, the conversion rate is going to be extremely low. As I said, it's not even worth me going through the exercise of making comparisons between Tesla and Aptera. Just not worth it. If you think you can get valuable information with regard to conversion rates being a magnitude of 10 times and more better than what Tesla can do, you've got rocks in your head. You're a non-thinking lemming, a worshipper of this, what is highly likely to be another successful Ponzi. Comments are welcome on my video. You can argue the toss both on anything about the cretin or about the conversion rate. You can talk about anything. I will teach you how to think rationally. I will teach you to stick to facts and not be swayed by diversions. I will teach you the difference between ideology and reality so that you can avoid being a gullible fool. That's enough from me. I look forward to intelligent comments. Bye for now. Stay safe.